hello to all P5 students. So today we are going to take a look at Book 4, Love Your Body, Chapter 1, the Nervous System. In this lesson, we are going to learn how the nervous system coordinates different parts of the body, and also we are going to take a look at what the reflex action is. So I hope that you still remember the different major systems of the human body. If you forgot, don't worry, let's do a revision. So please remember that the human body is made up of different systems, and each of them carry out different functions to keep the body working properly. So we have different functions. For example, for whenever we need to breathe in, it is related to the respiratory system. So you can see that the picture here. For our bones in the body actually supports our body, and also it helps us to move as well. So this is related to the skeletal system. And then our heart will pump the blood throughout our body. So this is related to circulatory system. So whenever we drink water or drink other kinds of maybe juice or etc., so it's related to our urinary system, because our urinary system will help us to remove the excess water away from the body. And whenever we eat something, so the food will enter the esophagus and then enter the stomach, and then later on it will go through the intestine, and then we move from the human body. So this is related to the digestive system. So if we need to move our hands or perform an action, so our nervous system will help us, because the signal will transfer to the brain, and then the brain will also transmit some information or give orders to different parts of the body. So there's a simple tips for you to remember. So we have the tips of run CDs. So R stands for respiratory, U stands for urinary, N stands for nervous, C stands for circulatory, D stands for digestive, and last but not least we have S as skeletal. So next time, if you can't remember what are the 6 body systems that we have in the human body, you can try to remember run CDs. So you can also jot it down in your band book or also in your textbook to help yourself to remember the body systems. So today we are going to take a look at how the nervous system actually coordinate different parts of the body. So you can take a look at your textbook page 8 and 9. So let's take a look at the picture here. So the boy wants to make a jump. So how does the nervous system coordinate different parts of his body in order to make the jump? So let's divide it into step by step. So step 1, first of all, our eyes need to see the landing spot. So he has to actually take a look at where he needs to jump. Second step, the nerves, connecting the eyes and also the brain will help that, because altogether they transmit the signal to the brain. So the eyes see something and then transmit the information to the brain to process it. And then later on, once the brain receives the information, it will start the processing. And then after that, it will start to give order. So where will the order go? So first of all, the order will be transmitted through the spinal cord. So the yellow part here stands for the spinal cord. And then this information, this signal, will continue to transmit it into different related parts of the body. So step 5, so in our legs, we also have nerves as well. So nerves, we can find nerves around the body, So we have a lot of nerves in our human body. So the nerves in the legs will start to instruct the muscles, of the legs to perform the jump. So after that, so he can finally make the jump. So it seems very complicated for the whole process, but then actually it just very quick as well, because our brain is really, really smart. So after that, we have to know that the nervous system controls different parts of the body to perform different actions. So we can actually take a look at this graph as well. Okay, so step 1, we have the brain. Okay, the brain will give order to the spinal cord and also the nerves. And then after they get the information, it will continue to transmit it or transmit the signals or the orders to different parts of the body. All right, so these are the steps, these are the sequence that how our nervous system will try to coordinate different parts of the body. So now let's spend some time to complete the summary part here. So I will give you like around 30 seconds to think about what words we can put in to fill in the blanks. So we have orders, we have transmit, we have see, we have parts, we have jump. Okay, so give you last 5 seconds to think about it. All right, so step 1, our eyes, first of all, we have to see the landing spots first. Secondly, the nerves of our eyes will transmit the signal to our brain. After that, once our brain receives the signal, it will start the processing and then it will give out the order. Sorry. All right, so after that, the spinal cord will try to transmit the orders from the brain to the related parts of the body. And then the nerves in the legs will start to instruct the muscles of the legs to perform the jump. So by looking at the sequence here, you'll be able to understand how our nervous system controls our different parts of the body. All right, so after understanding how to coordinate by the use of our nervous system, now let's take a look at the reflex action. So you can turn to page 9 if you wish to. So think about that. Sometimes when we touch the hot object, so what will happen? First of all, our nerves will transmit the sense of heat to the spinal cord. So we feel that the heat of the water, and then the nerves will try to start transmitting the information. And then we send to the spinal cord. But then the spinal cord will directly give an order back to the muscles through the nerves instead of sending the signal to the brain. All right. So that's why for reflex action, so when being stimulated, so muscles react immediately and automatically as well before thinking. So we have the same reaction whenever we have the same stimulation. Okay, so that's why actually before we start thinking, so our muscle will react. We have to take the reaction. Okay, so that is what it means by reflex action. So for reflex action, these are the ways to transmit the signal. First of all, our sensory neurons receive the signals from outside the world. Secondly, we'll transmit the signal to the spinal cord through the nerves. Finally, our action, okay, so we will react immediately without any thinking. So when we touch something hot, of course, we will withdraw our hand, take away our hand, move away our hands very quickly. So this is to avoid injuries as well. Okay, so remember that, do we ever think about before we react in an above situation? Actually, the answer is no. Okay, so we won't think about that because we don't have time for that. Otherwise, we will get hurt. So that's why this reaction is important, because it helps us to avoid any injuries. So apart from touching the hot objects, so in our daily life, there are lots of different kinds of reflex actions as well. So when you take a look at your textbook page 9, you'll be able to see that when someone tap your knee or when someone clap in front of your eyes, so think about that, what kind of reaction you will have. And also think about that, why do I have these kind of reactions? So try to do, maybe try to do these activities with your family members, and then later on, be ready to share with your classmate in class as well. Okay, so let's take a look at task 1 by tapping on the need. So tapping on the need, actually we have a reflex action of sudden kicking movement of the lower leg. So this part will have a sudden kicking. We move a bit. So first of all, our reaction is very fast in the test. And then think about whether we think carefully before we make this action. The answer is no. We didn't even think about that before we make this reaction. So when we are stimulated suddenly, our reaction actually does not involve any thinking at all. So that means our because of this, okay, because of this action, the nerves will get the information, okay, but then the nerves will transmit, okay, the information to the spinal cord, but then without any thinking, the signal will not send to our brain. So our nerves will directly, okay, reflect the action back to the muscles. Okay, so let's take a look at the second test, that is about clapping in front of the eyes. So our eyes will blink immediately when someone claps in front of us. First of all, the action again, it is very, very fast, very quick. And then again, we did not think carefully before we make the action. We don't control our eyes muscle at all. When we are stimulated suddenly, our reaction actually does not involve any thinking. So you can try this out with your family members at home. Okay, so if you take a look at your textbook page 9, okay, we have to fill in the blanks here. All right, so what kind of action is an immediate reaction which does not involve thinking? And it helps us to avoid injuries. So this action is called as reflex action. So you can write it down in your textbook. Okay, a short summary. So you can find this from your the long summary in your textbook. Okay, so I covered parts of that in order to help you to concentrate. So remember that reflex actions allow us to react immediately without thinking. They help us avoid injuries. So think about in your daily life, do you come across with any other kinds of reflex actions? So you can also share with your friends or also share in class later on. All right, so last but not least, you can do a review, okay, on your textbook page 10 and 11. And also, I would like you to take a look at one of the Campus TV worksheets that you have to work in order to show your understanding. So later on, your teacher will pass you Campus TV worksheets. So please classify whether the following pictures are reflex actions or not. So you can put a tick or a cross in the following pictures. Okay, so please also discuss it with your classmate or even with your teacher in the GS lesson. Okay, so this is the end of our lesson. So thanks for watching. So we will see you soon again. Bye-bye.